I've been asked a couple times if I would do a video setup of how I use my planner, flip through how I've set up my planner, so I thought I'd take the time to not only do that, but kind of explain why I went from my beloved A5 Filofax original to my current planner, which is this A5 patent turquoise Domino. So I have always been a fan of the original. I like the quality of the leather. It's just durable. It's what I expect a classic planner to be. I like the snap. I feel like it's quality material that's protecting my lovely planner goods that are inside here. That being said, I do tend to baby my planners. I put them in a pouch to go in my bag with me, and with summer coming and knowing that I'm going to be out and about with my kids more and taking my planner with me, I wanted something that I felt I wouldn't worry as much about, but also that I didn't have to necessarily baby as much, which may sound a little bit funny because I kind of had shied away from the Domino because I felt like it wasn't as quality, but one thing that pulled me toward it was I felt like this material could easily be wiped off with a baby wipe, and I wouldn't have to worry so much about if something got spilled on it or anything like that. One of the things I did not think I was going to like was the elastic. Now, I'm used to an elastic closure. I have a Midori Traveler's Notebook that I use for journaling, and it has, you know, this elastic, and that's fine. I just wasn't sure that was going to be, in my opinion, secure enough for my everyday planner. Truthfully, when I got the planner and I opened it, I immediately fell in love. The color is just stunningly gorgeous, and it is, in a weird way, this supple, soft, patent, you know, bendy material that I really like it. Like I said, I wanted something that I didn't feel like I was going to have to baby as much, and I do feel like just a baby wipe over this, and as a matter of fact, like I've had a few smudges on it from going in and out of my bag or setting it on something that maybe wasn't completely clean, and I can just usually take my finger and just wipe off whatever smudges might be on there. Like, for example, it's not going to show up on camera, but there's like this little black, and I can just kind of wipe it right off, and it just looks as good as new. So this is what I'm using for my current planner, what I think I'll probably use throughout the summer. I wanted to set it up in a kind of watercolor theme, and I found some papers that I thought were just super pretty. I love the pastels. I'm normally a gold type of girl, but I did do some top tabs. Now, some of the reason I did the top tabs was, like I said, I'm used to the snap and it doesn't really interfere with my tabs, and I was kind of concerned that the elastic on the Domino would dent up my tabs. So I decided to do some top tabs. I foiled my months here, and it's maybe not going to show up very good. So I did. I break down my planner by month. It's just what works best for me, and I'll show you my inserts, and I'll show you kind of how I use them. So I did like silver foiling for the months. So I don't have all my months in here because I didn't want it to be so fat. But another part of the reason that I switched was I usually keep every month in my planner, and there is a really surprisingly large difference in the ring size between a original, I wonder if I'll be able to get this on camera, and the Domino. It is, I can put the measurements in, but it's surprisingly large difference. It makes a huge difference for me, for anyone who keeps the whole year's worth a month in there, as well as the fact that I use day on one page inserts. So some months I have 30 or 31 days in my planner, and then when you keep most of the year in there, it really adds up. I'll give you an example. My patent Filofax, my patent nude that I have, was, before I switched, probably this full, and it was starting to tear the edges of my inserts, and I was a little unhappy about that. I don't like the looks of reinforcers, and I know people put washi and all kinds of things to kind of keep their inserts looking nice, but I don't necessarily want to have to fuss with that. So Anyway, here's the setup. So I do keep my planner separated by month. So each of my dividers here is a month, and I'll go through and I'll do a quick flip through so you guys can see the watercolor inspiration. This is a Heidi Swapp paper, and I just cut it down. I love that. I can't even remember what collection this is from. This has the days of the week in this kind of like watercolory script, and this is kind of watercolor inspired, and I like the turquoise and pink and yellow. And then there's some repeats. You'll see, just quick, this also has the days of the week, which I think is so cute in a planner. It's kind of like in a typewriter font. You'll have to forgive the reflection because I obviously laminate my... So, and this is like kind of ombre to watercolor effect. I know this looks kind of gray, but it's turquoise. And more, I'm just going to show you every month just so you can see. I love these papers, and I just think they complement each other so well. And this one's got a lot of cute sayings on it. It says, hello darling, ciao, courage, love this, reach for the stars, don't quit. Kind of perfect in a planner, really cute. And then some more repeats of the watercolor dots and the script. Now I will show you how I break up each month. And I'm kind of going to go through here and try not to show too much of my personal stuff. So the first thing when you open a new month is you're going to see the month on 2 pages. Well, actually, the first thing you're going to see is I will link to who I got my inserts from. But so for each month, the first page says monthly goals, top focus this month, and then you can write on this line here what you plan to focus on, and then the steps to break down. And I don't know how well this is showing up. There we go, that looks better. Steps to focus on that, and then other goals or to-dos for the month. I'll give you a quick overview of that. For example, so we are going to Disney as a family in April, and so for March, my monthly goal was to set the plans for Disney and then figure out what days at what parks, do the fast pass and reservations, and think about packing, so things like that. And then other things I wanted to do is I do Project Life in my memory planner, and I wanted to do a better job of keeping track of those things and keeping track of my Etsy sales. So that's kind of how I use that. And then from this page, it goes to a month on 2 pages. And so this is what my month usually looks like at the start. And then at the end of the month, it usually looks a little something like this, a little more full, because I then take something from my daily inserts, and I'll just give you an idea what those look like, and I transfer it back to my month on 2 pages because I use this as kind of an at a glance to do my memory planner and to do my Project Life. So from this month on 2 pages, so there's the goals, right? And there's the month on 2 pages. Then I also have a week on 2 pages, which here says weekly plan, then it's got the dates. It has the top 3, so you can write your top 3 maybe goals for the day or to-dos for the day, and then it's broken down from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then it's got some blank spaces down here that could be used for meal planning or such. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'd love some suggestions. I'm horrible at using my week on 2 pages. And no matter how hard I try or the best of intentions I have, I just don't seem to be able to transfer a small enough amount of data. You know, I even wrote that as one of my goals to make better use of week on 2 pages, because I maybe start to decorate it and I just don't do anything with them. And I really do want to. I just want to find a better way. So then from the week on 2 pages, I have these awesome inserts, which these are by SewMuchCrafting on Etsy. And she actually customized these for me. So it says today is, must do today, on the menu, And then I had her put this little section in that says, today was great because, and I really wanted to focus on making my memory planner, project life, binder, kind of like a gratitude journal that also captured, you know, what's great about my family and our daily life. And then it's got the little water tracker. And then I have all of this space here that I can use for notes throughout the day or appointments or however I should decide to use it. I'm trying to find one that I'd be more than happy to show you. You know, some pages I definitely have more on them than others. So I'll make notes like what the weather was like, and kind of like this day I found those Heidi Swap planners that I was looking for, and I write that kind of things on there. And then I always try to remember to write something in this little gratitude section, and usually that's what I transfer over to my month on 2 pages, so that when I go to my memory planner, which has this same layout, and I can just take these little snapshots and transfer them over, and then maybe find the pictures that I'm going to project life with them that kind of go in there. So that's how my setup is. This month on 2 page insert that came with the monthly goals top page, and it came with, I'm going to see if I have the rest of the inserts. It is by Betsy and Company on Etsy. So I'll be honest, there's so many cute options on Etsy, and I thought I could mess around with it and do some customization and print my own, and I just did a horrible job printing off double-sided. So I thought these were a great fit. She includes a whole year's worth of calendar, and it comes with a page where you can write like all of your birthdays for the year, and special things you need to take note of. And then also kind of, I really love the idea of the monthly goals, because as you know, if you don't plan it, it probably never gets done. And the best way to put a goal into action is to write it down and then take some steps. And sometimes a little bit of forward thinking can make the biggest difference in the world. So that really has helped me to focus on that. So there's my domino. There's what I'm using every day. And as you can see, it's pretty full. And I don't even have January through March in here, or January and February in here. And I don't have every single daily insert for my end months here either, because we all know how that goes. I'm probably going to switch to another planner at some point. So there is a peek inside my domino and a comparison to why I switched from the original to the domino. Like I said, I still love my original. I'm sure I will go back to them. I really wish there was more space in these rings. I'm going to see if I can get one more shot just to show you guys a comparison of the size of the rings. If you go on to Filofax.com, you can take the measurements, but it's hard to tell just with the measurements. There is a significant difference. That kind of shows it. So no more ripped pages for me. That makes me happy. And the fact that this pretty little girl here is probably going to be able to take a beating better than I thought. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Like I said, if you have suggestions for me on the best way you utilize your week on 2 pages, I would love to see it. I know.